Good afternoon, everyone. Chris Berryman here, coalition builder and founder of Bringing Humanity Together. Welcome to another Share and Care with Sandy Chernoff episode from our Bringing Humanity Together live stream. I'm a little tongue-tied today. Don't know why. It's one of those days.
Because it's raining at my house. Someone elsewhere.
There you go. There you go. This is one under the three open forums under the Bringing Humanity Together umbrella where people can discuss topics related to the workplace and humanity in the workplace in a very positive and constructive way. We want to know what the issues that are out there that are facing people today because it is our goal to both work with employers and employees to bring humanity back into the workforce. And as always, we'll be going live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday all at 3 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. And just remember, if you're watching this on YouTube or on LinkedIn Live or on our Twitter handle or on our Facebook business page, please let us know where you're watching from and give us any questions or concerns or comments throughout the today's live stream. And we would love to reach out to you and have a great and engaging conversation. And remember, as always, Sharing Care is Sandy's every Tuesday. I host Conversation for Humanity on Wednesday, and Humanity Happy Hour is hosted by none other than Carla Fedigan, as you see here, for Humanity Happy Hour on Thursday. Like I said, as you jump on, feel free to comment, like I said, in whatever social media platform that you like, and let us know where you're watching from. And we are able to put 10 people into a live stream at a time. So if you want to join us, I will put the live link in LinkedIn Live and also on our social media platform so you can join us. And we would love to have that great and engaging conversation. So good afternoon, ladies. Hello, Carla and Sandy. How are you guys doing today on Terrific Tuesday?
Doing great. Terrific. Hi.
Now, I bet you can't tie my tongue. I can't believe I did that. I'm like, what did I just do?
All right, so we're going to talk about humanity today.
What does humanity look like to you, and what does it mean to you?
Yeah, I think that, for a lot of people, I don't think they even think about it, to tell you the truth. And I think that, one of the most important things that we need to focus on is that, for people to be successful and for people to be happy, and if they're happy, they're creative, they're productive, and they're sick less often, we need to be humane. We need to be nice to each other. We need to be respectful with one another. And in a workplace, also contributions need to be acknowledged. And so if people feel valued and feel appreciated, then, they're going to work hard. And it's a win-win for everybody. But in workplaces where that doesn't exist, usually there's a lot of turnover. And that's uncomfortable and expensive. But it's also uncomfortable for customers. When customers come into a place, they always feel good when they recognize someone at the desk, and particularly when someone at the front recognizes them and even calls them by name. I mean, it's really something special when people know you well enough to say, "Hi, Chris, how are you doing? Having a good day?" Whatever. And, if you keep changing the person there, then they're not going to know anybody. And the customers aren't going to feel very comfortable either. So it's a matter of understanding that being human and expressing that and dealing with it in every aspect of our lives. And, it doesn't just have to be work. If you do volunteer work or even with your family and your friends, if people aren't nice to each other, it's not very much fun. It's uncomfortable and it's unpleasant. And the truth is, it's not that difficult. It's really not. It's just a matter of deciding that that's how you want to be. And if you are, then I think that you'll have a lot more happiness in your own life, and you'll just be that much more successful, because being nice to people is attractive, and people enjoy being appreciated and being recognized and all those things. And so if that's what's going on, and if that's the kind of person you are, then you're going to attract a lot of people. And also at work, you're going to get along with your colleagues and your superiors and your customers, and it's all good. It's just a matter of, what you decide. And as I've said before, in life, there are very few things that we can control fully. The only thing we can fully control is our own attitude. And, if you have a positive attitude about what you're doing and how you're doing it, and you look at your life in a positive way, then no matter what comes your way, because again, nobody's life is a long, straight, smooth road. It doesn't work that way. But if we come across boulders or curves or holes in the road or whatever, if we have a positive attitude, we can step back and say, okay, so how do we deal with this? What do we do next? And it's just a matter of being able to problem solve those things and not let them take over your life so that everything is, oh, woe is me, everything is negative. And it's not fun to be around those kind of people anyway. And they usually drag others down. I really don't like being around negative people. I just find that it's very uncomfortable. I really prefer for people to be looking at things from a positive perspective. Okay, yeah, we have a little problem here, so what should we do about it? And either you fix it yourself or you get some help. Either way, there's no reason why things can't be fixed, but it's just a matter of deciding that you can. And if you make that decision and you have that approach, then you're going to just have a much easier time. It's just, it's really pretty simple. And I mean, I prefer to be positive about things. I mean, not every day is perfect and not every day is wonderful, but you can make it as perfect and wonderful as you want by how you approach things. I mean, like right now, as I said, the weather here is really hot and it's very unusual in Vancouver. So that's okay. Just wear less clothes.
Keep the fan going.
No, jump in the pool. How about that?
Yeah, well, you can do that too. We do have a pool here. And one of my girlfriends, that's how she exercises. She goes to the pool. And actually, it's very funny because Yale sometimes goes to the pool house. And he also always goes to see if her husband is there. He's her lifeguard. And so we always come to see if Barry's awake or sleeping, because he always sit by the pool and he'll sleep. And that doesn't help Ellen. So we tease him a lot about that. But it's just, again, and with a lot of the people that live where we live, which is a townhouse complex, it's a strata. Most of the people here are old. I'm serious. We have 200-year-olds who live in here. And we have a lot of 90-something-year-olds.
You're the youngster of the group.
I'm one of the youngsters. Yeah, there's a couple of other people that are a little bit younger than I am, Carla, but most everybody is older. But they're very, the people are nice. And a lot of them go for walks. Some of them use walkers. Some of them use canes. But by and large, they get out, on top of which we're on a golf course. And there's a trail around the golf course. And a lot of people walk on that trail. And it's just, we don't socialize with a lot of the people that are here. But, if we see them walking on the road, so we stop and, everybody's wearing masks and you can, physically distance, and we can have a nice little visit. We don't go into their house, but we can have a visit. Like yesterday, the neighbor who lives across the street from me, she's lovely. And she's an amazing gardener. The garden that she has, it's never looked this good until they moved in. And Sally's just done an amazing job in the garden. It is so gorgeous. And she's out there every day. But I hadn't seen her for about a week. So I said to her, I said, were you away? She said, no, my son came. Her son lives in Colorado. And, they've opened the border here now. And so he came to visit. And he brought his son with him. This kid is so cute. So I said to him, how old are you? He wouldn't talk to me. Very cute. Little blonde kid. So I said to Sally, how old is he? 4 or 5? She goes, yeah, he's 4. I said, well, he's adorable. So, they're staying with them right now, I guess, to have a little visit, which is nice. And the neighbors.
You are in Colorado.
Well, yeah. But they drove up here, so you can imagine. Yeah.
Uh-uh.
Yeah. So, And our neighbors on one side of me here are two retired lawyers. And they had a dog when they moved in here. And sadly, the dog died. So about a month or so ago, they got a new dog. And it's so cute. And then I saw Bob with it. And he comes over to me and he goes, "So do you hear it barking all the time?" I said, "No, if I do, I'll tell you." Well, it's a puppy. They bark. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
So,
Do you have any pets?
No.
No.
My daughter has a dog. And
Oh, that's right. Your daughter has a dog. Yeah.
my
How about your
son
son? Do they have a dog for their
Yes.
kids, for the boys?
has
Yeah.
a dog.
Oh,
So-
how was camp?
Oh, camp was fun. Sam had.
You were doing a Skype last week, I think, because they were coming home from camp.
Yeah. Well, one came home, Carla. The younger one came home. And so we Skyped with him, and I said to Sam, I said, "So did you have a good time?" "Yeah, I water skied and I swam." And listen to this. He's 8 years old. He played tackle football. Can you believe it?
Nice.
And he loved it. He absolutely loved it. And he said, and I was really good. And the coach said that if they had an MVP award, I would have gotten it. He is so funny. Just
How
he's
cute.
adorable. Yeah. And the older one comes back this Sunday. So Jack will be back on Sunday. But Mark figures he'll be tired and he probably won't want to talk to us if we Skype on Sunday. So I said, well, we'll see. If he doesn't want to talk, he doesn't have to. He can just say,
It's not with everybody else. Yeah.
well, it's fine. But Sam is so funny. I mean, he's absolutely adorable. And he's a very outgoing kid. His brother isn't as outgoing as he is. Sam is much more like my son, and Jack is much more like his mother. Kim is much more reserved than my son. And Sam is, I think I told you that he was so excited to go to camp because in Ontario, they haven't been in school. So Sam hasn't been seeing his friends. And he really misses because he likes to socialize. So I said to him, "Are you looking forward to camp?" "Yeah, I get to socialize again." He was so excited. I said, "Well, do you know anybody?" He goes, "No, but I'm going to make new friends."
That's
And he
cool.
did.
That's
And
cool. It's great that he's not shy at all.
No, not at all.
Are
And
you able to go visit them?
well, we're planning right now, Carla, to probably go in April, which is when Passover is. And that's usually when we've been going, but we haven't gone for 2 years. So we'll go in the spring. And then next October, a year from this,
Because next October is the bar mitzvah.
yeah. And so, we'll go for that too. So, somehow. I told you I'm not real keen to get on an airplane for 5 hours, but I guess, if you have to, you have to.
You'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll deal with it.
You'll be fine.
I miss the boys. I mean,
bet.
I really do. And, I told Sam, I said, "We haven't seen you for 2 years." And he looks at me and goes, "We see you every Sunday on Skype."
So if you drove, how far would it be?
Oh, it's like 5 or 6 days to drive, Carla. It's far.
No way.
Yeah, well, Toronto's not that far from Montreal. It's a long, long ways. It's like, 6,000 or 7,000 miles to go to Toronto. So, it's a big drive.
I have
It
no-
is.
I
It
have
is a
no
long
idea.
way.
Well, when I moved to Toronto, this was before I was married, I thought about driving, and I did it. What I did instead was I put my car on the train and I went on the train.
That's
And even
smart.
that was a 3-day trip on the train.
Yeah,
So,
that's smart.
when I came back,
Yeah, it is quite a ways.
it is. One of my girlfriends was in Toronto and she was coming back to Vancouver. So she drove back with me. We actually drove back. But at least I had company in the car and she helped with some of the driving. So, I did drive home when I came back from Toronto. But
And you're in Vancouver, right?
yeah, it's far, Carla. It's
Well,
very,
they're farther east than I am in Atlanta.
that's right. Yeah. Like when we went to Florida one year, because my sister-in-law used to have an apartment in Florida. And we have a lot of friends in Toronto. A lot of Torontonians go to Florida for the winter. And so when we had lots of friends down there. So my sister-in-law invited us to come down and spend a couple of weeks with her. So the easiest way to go to Florida is to fly to Toronto. And then from Toronto to Miami, there's a direct flight. So that's what we did. And we had a very nice time because there were so many people that we knew down there. It was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
I didn't realize it's that far.
well, yeah, and it's also funny that my sister-in-law, who lives here, would have a place in Florida, because most people who live here have places either in Arizona or Palm Springs. And
Right.
Sylvia and Al used to have a place in Palm Springs, but Albert missed the ocean, and that's why they bought a place in Florida. But after he died, it was harder for Sylvia, and so ultimately she has sold that place in Florida.
Yeah.
And she doesn't go in. It's too hard for her anyway. My sister-in-law's 92. You know, it's a lot harder for her to travel. In fact, her daughter, who right now lives in Mexico, actually came up here and flew with Sylvia to Calgary. And she's coming back with her too. So Judy will go back from here back down to Mexico.
Oh, wow.
But her other two daughters live in Calgary. And one of her grandsons lives there. One of her granddaughters lives here. And Alana went to Calgary for Sylvia's birthday. And one of her grandsons lives in Toronto. And the other one has been staying with her. So he's been here in Vancouver. And he's a sweetheart. So, you know, and it's kind of interesting. And Eli, that's the grandson who's been living here. I mean, talk about a human person, Chris. You'd love him. He is so good. I mean, he really is. I don't think he's like his grandmother. He doesn't have a mean cell in his body. He is such a good kid. He cooks and he bakes and he does the grocery shopping and he cleans up and he, you know, he's just, if Sylvia needs to go to the doctor, he takes her. And if she wants to get her hair cut, he takes her. I mean, he's just a sweetheart. I mean, he really is. And he has a lovely girlfriend who's from Colombia, and she also is living with them. And she's also very nice. But they're sweet. They're really sweet. And my sister-in-law is like that. Sylvia does not have a mean cell in her body. I mean, she really doesn't. She is the nicest person you could ever want to meet. I mean, when I didn't have a washing machine for like 6-7 months, whatever it was, every week I went to her house to do laundry.
Wow.
I would just phone her up. Okay, so what day's good and what time should I come? You know?
I'm running out of clothes.
And I said, you know, anything you want washed, just leave it out. You know, I'll throw it in with my load or loads, whatever I was doing. And then she kept saying, well, you don't need to fold my stuff. I said, Sylvia, I'm folding mine. What difference does it make to fold yours? I'll just put it on your bed.
Yeah.
Right. So
What does humanity look like to you, Chris?
say that again.
What does humanity look like to you?
Well, humanity to me is about the basic human components that makes us up who we are. I mean, it's like kindness and understanding about forgiveness and remorse and all those kind of things that makes us human beings by very nature. But for me, humanity is about, again, doing what is right, not what is easy. Because if you do the right thing, you can't go wrong with right.
That's
You
correct.
know,
Absolutely.
and I just know in my very fiber of my being that we all share the same innate things. Like I said, we all want to be treated fairly and equally, and we all want to be understood, and we want to be heard, especially at work or even with our spouses or significant others, whatever that might be. You know, because the more that we have those things that are in commonplace to one another, that we share at that table of humanity, I truly believe that that opens up us up as individuals up to a much larger world that's out there. Because I know there are different models of the world that people work under. So what worked good for Carla will work good for Carla, but what will work good for Sandy will work good for Sandy. But then again, if Sandy and Carla can come together on the things that they may not see eye to eye on, I think that's even a better way forward, because you can still go from the point of what's in commonality with each other and still build upon that. And the things that are not in common place with one another, you can still say, hey, I recognize the fact that me and you, Carla, don't have something in common. Why that is, I don't know. But let's take it to see how we can get in that alignment and go from it from that point of view. And the more that we share that, I think that would be a great thing. And sometimes we have to come to the realization. Sometimes we have to say, "Hey, we have to agree to disagree." Okay, not a problem. I understand that.
It's also an opportunity to learn something sometimes, Chris.
That's true. Absolutely. There's always something new that you can learn. It's like what my father taught me at a very early age. He's like, Chris, if you can learn one new thing a day, you've had a productive day. And I live by that. Because, like I said, I've learned so much from you and Carla and Patrick and Lisa and so many other people. Brian, where are you at today? We got to hurry up. Where are you out today? We got to have you on the call today. Uh, I've learned from so many other people. It's just amazing what I've learned.
Well, and in business, as I've said before, Chris, it's a bloody minefield. And so it's really helpful to have people who have already navigated that minefield to help you so that we can get through this in an easier way. Do you think that Jason's going to do the website for us, or do you want to go back to Nathaniel?
That I don't know. I'll have to get with you on that
Why don't we discuss
and
that
see how
first?
that goes. But what does humanity look like and mean to you, Carla?
Well, humanity to me brings up the thought of being humane and treating everybody kindly and thinking beyond the tip of your nose, that it's not all about you. It's about how you interact with the world and treating each other with kindness. It's allowing other people to express their opinion about something and realizing that's their opinion. You don't have to be triggered by anything, and hey, that's your way of thinking. It may not be in alignment with what I'm thinking, but being respectful of people and
Yes.
allowing them to voice how they feel. I mean,
Yep.
I believe that just because you have the right to say something doesn't mean you necessarily have to say it. But if you're going to do that, if you're going to go ahead and step in it, go ahead and step in it, and if that's on you. I may not agree with what you have to say. I'm not in the business of convincing anybody, and I certainly don't like to have fights with anybody. I don't think that it's worth it. I think we can agree to disagree on things. I'm with Sandy. I'm a very positive person. And that doesn't mean I never have any discouraging moments or just like feeling like sometimes things are piling in on you. And, we all have those moments every once in a while, or things don't go like you had expected and it's disappointing. But all in all, I'm a positive person, and I just go, okay, what I have to do next, I decide, I make it a decision and make it a speed bump in life and not a mountain that I have to climb.
Right.
And I'm not one of these people that goes, oh my God, the day's been so horrible, and I'm just going to throw in the towel for the rest of the day. That is not me. I'm okay. Let's figure this out. If it's a problem we've had, we all work together and talk together about issues and talk about how we can solve it. And we look at each other's opinions and say, that's a great idea, but what about this angle? And hey, yeah, you're right, I hadn't thought about that how that will impact the whole thing. And we truly work together in this group to solve problems together for the organization. And we treat each other with kindness and respect. We appreciate each other, every gift that everyone has to give to the group. I knew nothing about beginning a business in this manner when I first started, and I've learned a heck of a lot from it. And I've learned to be resourceful, and like you say, learn a new skill every day.
Yeah. And as long as you get one in, that's all you need, just the one.
Yeah. So I just think that we need to have gratitude. We need to be positive minded, and that is infectious to other people. And I think that once people realize how nice it is to feel wanted and needed and respected and appreciated, it just spreads.
It does.
And it suppresses negativity.
Well, look at how much fun we have on a lot of these conversations that we have. And, again, life is too short not to enjoy it. So if we're not having fun, what the heck are we doing? And that's why I feel very sorry for people who work in jobs that they hate.
Oh, I know.
I mean, I realize that sometimes you need the money, and so you're kind of stuck. But I still think you can look around or ask friends if there's something else that you could do or somewhere else that you could work, and get away from it, because it's just not worth it. Life is way too short.
Well, look inward and find out how you could possibly do it better and be doing something that you're passionate about.
Yeah,
right.
Enjoy. I mean,
make a plan, figure out how you're going to eventually get into that position.
Yeah. I mean, it shouldn't be that hard. It's just a matter of stepping back and saying, okay, what are my options? Who could maybe help me? Whatever. And it's just a matter of having a look at what you could do. I mean, I told you, I started this business on a dare for my son. I mean, it was just...
Yeah, you did.
Mark literally dared me to do this.
Well, yeah, a lot of people say that they're miserable in the job that they're doing. They don't know what else they want to do. But what they really might need to do is look at themselves and see how they are presenting themselves at work. Are they the ones that are contributing to that negative feel at work?
True.
Are they jumping on the bandwagon for other people that are negative? Are they actually starting the negativity? So you realize that you're not starting it. It's a humbling moment when you go, yeah, I've been kind of negative along with them. It's been easy to be accepted into that club and say, I'm not going to do it anymore. And then, develop a positive attitude and, and how you present yourself at work. Then you can start looking at, what do I want in a culture for a company that I'm going to go with, or am I going to go out on my own? Figure out what it is that you need to do. You need to figure out what you need to do that. And, save your money to where you can make that happen, because it may not even go that way. It may be that you might be faced with a layoff and you're going to just have to make it work.
Yeah.
Right. And for me, ladies,
yesterday, that most people do not have $400 extra for a financial emergency. And it's like 40-something%. And 20-something% of those people would have to sell or borrow money to take care of that emergency. And that almost half of Americans do not have any type of retirement savings at all. That's a scary place to be.
It is scary. It is.
I mean, we told our kids that they needed to start putting money aside from the time they started earning money. And it's very important to start planning for the future, because there will be a point in time when you don't want to work anymore, or where you can't work anymore. And if you haven't put aside money for your retirement, you're going to be in deep doo-doo.
Yeah. Well, I remember when I was growing up, and even we did it in elementary school, we had savings bonds. And then when my kids were born, actually, when I got married in 1982, my mother-in-law at the time, she gave us a savings bond. And then when each one of my kids was born, we got a savings bond. And I realized that it had been matured for several years. And it only got like $231 out of it.
What?
Yep. And in fact, I gave my daughter hers when she was here recently, she says, "You mean after 30 something years, the only thing I'm going to get is $185?" I said, "Yep."
Well, we do that. We do it for our grandsons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because for special birthdays,
Save.
we buy them $100 bonds, Israeli bonds. And my grandfather used to do that for me. When I went to Israel, I cashed in some of them. That was what I used for some of my expenses in Israel.
These are Israeli bonds?
Yep.
Can you get them in Canada, or do you have to?
Yeah, no. You can get them in Canada.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they even had them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
they pay out better than the U.S. savings bonds.
Yeah. And the boys get so excited because they always want us, "Oh, thank you so much for all that money." Because for them, $100 is a lot of money.
Oh, it's a lot of money. Yeah. So, I remember when I got out of nursing school, my first rent was $300 a month. And I thought that was a 1-bedroom apartment with a little living room and a eating area and a little closet of a kitchen. And I thought that was just like so expensive. And I was buying, at the time it was called generic canned goods. Like it wasn't Del Monte green beans. It was the Big Star or the Safeway or Kroger, And now it's commonplace that you've got the store brand versus the national brands,
My first apartment that I rented when I started practicing hygiene. Are you ready for this, Carla? It was $145 a month, including parking.
Wow. Oh, my word. Wow.
My parents bought their house that my dad's still in 1968. They'd say $37,250 for it. And I said, an SUV costs more than that.
Well, you can't get anything for rent in Vancouver for that anymore.
Oh, no.
But this was a long, long time ago. This was over 40 years ago.
Yeah.
In fact, it was almost 50 years ago. So, and the area was really nice. The area is called Kerrisdale, and it's where my dad's office was. I used to be able to walk to work. So, I didn't even need to drive my car. I just left it parked in the back. Mm-hmm. And it was actually pretty good size. I mean, it had a decent sized living room and a dining room and, sort of a galley kitchen, but it had a large bedroom, good sized bathroom. So, it was pretty good for that price.
Yeah.
But, now probably something like that would be like $2,500.
Oh, yeah.
Easy.
Easy.
Yeah. Well, my daughter's in DC. She has a 1-bedroom apartment and she pays $2,700 a month.
Wow. Yeah. It's very expensive now.
How's your daughter got the new place there in Brussels yet?
In Zurich, yeah. She got the apartment that she wanted, so.
Excellent.
Yeah. So she's leaving the States on the 25th.
Wow.
So, and her landlord here, she's not too far from Georgetown. Her landlord wants to buy all of her stuff, all of her furniture, because the place she has in Switzerland is furnished. And so she just needs to take like personal stuff. They want to buy all of her stuff, and he wants to rent it out as an Airbnb.
Wow.
Okay.
So she was pricing everything and coming up with a price for him.
Good.
Yeah.
She should get a cut of that money.
She doesn't have to sell it because she's leaving in 2 weeks. So.
Well, that's good.
She should get a cut of that B&B.
Huh?
She should get a cut of that Airbnb.
Yeah. No, I don't think so. I think the landlord's going to get it all. So.
Hey, worth a try though. Yeah. But ladies, like I said, I am just so thankful and honored that I'm on this journey with you guys and with Patrick and Vicky Brewster and so many others who are joining us day by day. It's through one Lisa McQuillan, of course. She's actually on the move right now today. She's actually going up north today. Just got a message from her. So she's heading up north. I guess she's taking some vacation time in or whatever, or family time or whatever.
Chris,
But
I connected her with that gal who's a social media expert. And I
good.
actually contacted Blair myself and told her about the job. And then I gave Lisa her email, and I gave Blair Lisa's email so that the
Great.
two can
Great.
connect.
And I can't wait to meet Blair either. I would love to meet her. I think she will be great people to meet and that kind of thing. And see, and that's what we're all about. We're all about connecting with other people. Because see, that's what connects humanity together. It's almost like the fabric of humanity. If we weave the tapestry of humanity in such a way that really gets to the heartstrings of where we are, not only in our lives but also in the lives of others, and we weave it, and when we do it very well, the heartbeat of humanity will start to show us where we can go, what we can do, what we can impress upon to people, or even influence people on, or whatever that might be. Because see, that interconnectedness is already there, and if we can just allow that interconnectedness to show up to us in our daily lives, I truly believe there's nothing that we can't do. Not only in a individual mindset kind of paradigm, but also from a team dynamic paradigm. That's what we've created here as far as a community movement, purpose, mission that is bringing humanity together, because we see it as such. And the more that we are in touch with that and say, hey, this is the reason why I joined Chris on this journey. This is why I joined Carla. This is why Carla joined Sandy. I mean, everything's interconnected to everything else. Just like when we build this, and it's going to be a great field of dreams. And I guarantee you, ladies, it's going to be well built and it's going to be great. They will come, and once they come, we don't have to go knocking on their door. They'll be knocking on our door because they will see what we've already been doing for months and months on end as it is.
Well, and again, Chris, when people have problems, they Google them. It's what they do. And that's why the website has to have good SEO. Because I told you, I get 80 to 90% of my new contracts from inquiries through my website. I do get repeat business from happy clients. And I do get spin-off business from the conference speaking and the continuing education courses that I was giving. But the majority of my contracts come through my website, because that's what people do, whether it's an individual or an organization. They Google their problem, whatever it is. So as long as we have listed, many of the things that we know are possible problems, then, they'll end up on the website, and then they'll contact us, and then we can have that discussion.
Burnout, stress, exhaustion, whatever that looks like, health and wellness.
Yep.
Everything, again, like I said, ladies, everything's interconnected with each other. It's almost like you can't have success without the failure. We know that we're going to fail forward. And again, great book from John C. Maxwell, because that's one of his greatest books, because if we are willing to take that failure and look at it as a teachable moment, that's going to give us clarity into vision. Our vision would turn into our purpose, and our purpose would literally chart the path for others to join on that path. And like I said, everything's interconnected to everything else, and I truly believe it.
I don't remember where I heard this, but I wrote it down because I wanted to remember it. It's an acronym for FAIL. F is for first, A is for attempt, I is for in, and L is for learning. First attempt in learning.
Nice.
Cool.
Nice.
So it's not a bad thing to fail.
Oh, it's not.
No, it's not.
You learn what not to do.
Well, it's how you learn.
And you figure out a better way.
Exactly.
If that doesn't work, you fail again. You end up figuring out another way.
Well, you think the Wright brothers got the plane off the ground first try?
No.
I mean, they made mistake after mistake after mistake until they finally got it off the ground, but they learned what didn't work. Mm-hmm. And sometimes the way you have to go. You have to learn what doesn't work before you can find out what does work.
Right.
And the only way you can avoid some of that, again, is if you get some help from somebody who's had experience in whatever you're trying to do. And that's why sometimes for some people, I suggest that they get a business coach, because
Right.
sometimes that can be helpful. But you got to get the right one. And,
So-
not somebody that's just going to boss you around, but someone who's going to encourage you to figure stuff out and to give you a few ideas of things that you can try and, so on and so forth. I know a couple of really good ones here, and, they're great. But, lots of other ones probably aren't so good. But I think that, if you can get somebody who can really help you, then it will save you a lot of time and effort and probably money too.
Right. Now, mention that word again, Carla. I want to hear that one more time. That I love that.
Fail is first attempt in learning.
Nice. That is really
I can't
great.
remember where I heard it. I might have heard it at church because I wrote it down. I'm trying to think of other like areas where I would say, oh, I want to pick up my phone and write that down.
But yeah, and when we do fail, and of course I'm one to admit it, I fail more often than I actually succeed, because see, I take those teachable moments and I take it and say, hey, how can I make it better? How can I change it better?
Mm-hmm.
And for me, at least, in the way my mind works, I've always looked at something and said, hey, if this is going to be an issue for me, how do I make it not an issue? It's just like Jack. Jack will look at something, say, the log's in the way. What do I do with it? Jack, either he's going to go over the log, or he's going to move it out of the way. One of the two. I remember you told me that sometimes Jack would just literally say, "There, I'm not dealing with it."
Well, again, it's a matter of, and especially with kids, Chris, it's a matter of what have you taught them.
Correct.
And, especially little kids, they're sponges. They just soak everything up. So you have to be really careful when kids are small, because if you use a lot of swear words and you do a lot of stupid stuff, they're going to copy you, and that's not good. So
Mimic you? No.
Yeah.
Kids would do that? I did not know that.
So you've got to really think about
my daddy.
what you're teaching them.
My mom does that all the time.
Well, it's true. So it's a matter of, being careful in what you're teaching them. And, if you do a good job, your kids will turn out pretty well. And I've got two pretty good kids who, have made their way and have, gotten a good education. And, Mark had a condo before he got married, and he sold the condo, and that was the down payment for their house. And our daughter had a condo, and that was a down payment for her townhouse. So it's just a matter of the stepping stones. And also both of them have savings, because it was drilled into them. And my daughter-in-law is very good about that. I mean, Kim has been saving money since she was probably about 5.
Wow.
So, she wanted to pay off their mortgage by the time she was 40, Chris. And
she did.
They've done it, which I think is pretty remarkable, and because they've got a big house. It's about 4,000 square feet.
My goodness.
And it's in a very nice neighborhood. Well, they have a fully developed basement, Carla. They've got a second kitchen in the basement, and a little suite, because that's where their nanny lives. So, she's got a bathroom and a bedroom and a little, sort of area a sitting area, we could call it. But also down in the basement, they've got, one of those Game Boy things, so the boys can go down there. Plus, they've got a running machine and a rowing machine, and it's a big basement, so they have a lot of things going on down there. And their main floor, they've got a very large kitchen with a big walk-through pantry, big dining room, a small living room, but they've got a big family room and a good-sized kitchen. And they've got a bathroom and a laundry room, all on that main floor. And upstairs, they have 4 bedrooms. and all the bedrooms are en suite. The one that we use, we share the bathroom with Sam.
Wow.
But it's, you know, it's a pretty big house, and they've got an attached 2-car garage, and they've got a nice backyard, and they've got a nice front yard, and it's all landscaped, and they're in a very nice area. They're north of Toronto. They're in a small town called Vaughan, and it's mostly young families. So it's really nice. You know, there's lots of kids around. And Halloween, it's crazy. I mean, you cannot believe
I'm sure.
Halloween. But it's just, you know, and they have a lot of friends that live in the area. And so the boys have a lot of friends. And the school is about 10 minutes walk from their house. And the boys walk to school. Sometimes they'll ride their bikes, but, you know, it's not that far. And it's just a matter of, you know, what have you taught your kids? And I think that, you know, both of them have very good jobs. And so that's why they've been able to, like when they renovated their basement, which is when they put the kitchen in and did some other things, they saved up the money to do it.
Mm-hmm. That's the way to go.
Add more to their mortgage. And Mark has a friend who's a contractor, so they had him do it. And they just paid him cash. So he gave them a really good deal because they just paid cash. So, you know, again, it's a matter of what are you learning? And I think that, you know, if you can teach your kids how to take care of themselves and how to, you know, do things in the world. I mean, Elisa's got a really good job. She works for Hormel, and that's a contract job, but she's a dietitian. But she also has a website. Are you ready for this, Carla? For dog nutrition. She does. She has a website for dog nutrition. I don't know. I don't remember what it is. And she works with people who have dogs, but she also works with vets.
You have to send me your website. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, you definitely have to check that out.
Isn't that funny? But, you know, she's got a regular website. It's called Nutrition at Its Best. But, and she does a lot of nutrition counseling and, you know, that kind of thing. But she has this contract with Hormel, and she sells products to long-term care homes. So she, you know, she does a whole host of things and keeps her busy. And of course, she's got her own little dog, and she's very cute. She's this big, literally.
Like a teacup.
Yeah, Pomeranian.
Pomeranian?
Yeah. And Mark has 2 jobs. He works for it's a construction company, and they are very active in the oil and gas industry. But because that industry is going down, they've been buying other construction companies, and they own construction companies in Labrador and in BC and in Arizona and in Texas and in Lagos, Nigeria. Don't ask where Mark's been. Hong Kong. I mean, he's gone to all these places because when they buy the
work,
he has to go there and show them how to use the technology. So, you know, it's kind of interesting. Well, he's not traveling so much right now. And Kim has a master's in education, and she has a regional position. She's
at Google, isn't she?
Yeah, she also works for Google. But in New York region, she teaches teachers how to be more effective in the classroom. So she does webinars. And for Google, until the pandemic occurred, she was traveling all over North America, speaking at Google conferences that teach, again, educators how to use Google Docs and Google Hangout and all that kind of stuff to enhance their teaching experiences. And I don't know if I told you this, Kim came to Vancouver for one of them. And it was held in a very nice school in North Vancouver. And so she told us to come. And she obviously told everyone who was at the conference, you know, who was speaking at the conference, that we were coming. So when we came and we walked in, and the couple people that were sitting at the front desk when we walked in, they looked at us and finally said, "You must be Kim's in-laws." Well, because most of the people coming weren't old like us, Chris.
Yes. Like, you're a little old to be a teacher, aren't you?
Well, you know, I am, but it's just,
I know.
It's kind of funny. So
I'm surprised you didn't say, "We're here for the seminar."
Well,
I would have said, "Hey, we're here for the seminar."
Well, we wanted to hear Kim speak, and what was cool about it is she included the boys in part of her presentation. and she had pictures of them and everything in her PowerPoint. So it was kind of cool.
Cool.
And I told her afterwards that we really had enjoyed it. And the whole audience enjoyed it. You could just tell, sitting there and watching the people being engaged and so on and so forth. And she's a very good speaker. And we have a lot in common because she also blogs and, does all kinds of stuff. And Mark has another job. He does sort of project management for another company. So he's very busy. He's working all the time. And basically now he works from home. And so does Kim, because she does all these webinars now.
Uh-huh.
She's not doing live stuff. And so the boys love it because, their folks are around. They get to bug them.
Are the boys going back to school, or are they?
Yes, apparently this fall they're going to try it. So they're going to send the kids back to school. They have to wear masks and whatever. And
when do they start?
In September.
Oh, okay.
So if there are no outbreaks, I guess they will, allow them to stay in school. If they start having trouble, then I guess they'll go back to virtual.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fine for Sam and Jack because Mark's done a lot of teaching. Of course, Kim has a master's in education. So, if they needed help with anything, they could go to either one of their parents. But
are they in the public schools or private school?
No, they're in public school.
Oh, okay.
And, as I said, the public school they go to is about 10-minute walk from their house.
Yeah.
And, again, it's just Jack was in a French immersion school for a while, Carla. So he's totally fluent in French.
Oh, good for him.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, he's got a very good ear for language. My son does, and my mother had. Like Mark went to school in the Czech Republic for a semester, and he picked up Czech.
Oh yeah, kids pick it up really quick.
Oh yeah, I mean, because he's just got an ear for it, and so he, picked it up quite easily.
Yeah.
And Jack's like that. Jack has a good ear for language.
When my kids grew up, Brandon was a year old when I moved to France, and my daughter was born in France a year later. And to them, it was like we use these words to speak to our parents, and we use these words to speak to our neighbors and the kids in the neighborhood. And they pick it up. There's none of this. What do I want to say in English that I want to say in French? It was just different words. And so, and then we would kind of mix it. Even in the house, we had a little French and English going at the same time. We called it franglais. And then when we moved to Italy, like within 2 weeks, the teachers were like, man, I'm amazed that your kids have picked up with they were at the American school, but a lot of Italian kids were there. And they said, it's amazing how much your kids have picked up. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And sure enough, they do, because they learn that these are the type words that we talk to these people in, and these are the words I use at home. And so that's the way they learn languages. My daughter and I were just talking about this because she had gone over to Zurich and then went over to Africa and then came back to Zurich, and then she went over to Montpellier to see her dad and his wife. And she says it was amazing how much of my French I'd forgotten.
Yeah.
And we were talking about how when she was in high school and learning French, she couldn't even translate a recipe because they were teaching it completely different than how she grew up. It was almost like taking English and teaching a kid grammar, picking it apart.
Yeah.
And so I asked her what she was going to do in Switzerland. She says a lot of people will speak English or German, but she said that she was going to focus some on her French and figure out, pick up a little bit of the language here and there, because everyone over there wants to speak English.
Yeah. It's sort of become the universal language.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny, but
there's also a huge American community in Zurich. So.
Yeah. I've been there.
I hear it's beautiful.
It is.
I'm going there.
I've traveled all around.
Oh, so Carla's going. Okay, I'm all in. Count me in.
I'll
I'm
probably
all
go in
in.
the wintertime so I can go skiing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No,
So
it's a nice place. It's, I've been to Zurich, I've been to Bern, I've been to, I've traveled around a lot in Switzerland because a couple of my girlfriends from hygiene school worked there because the Swiss wanted hygienists there, and so they sort of cherry picked some of us.
oh
So I
wow.
went to,
Oh,
I went to
Cool is
visit
that?
my girlfriends who were working in Switzerland.
Yeah.
And nice to visit with them. It was fun. But it's just,
so what would all be our call to action today, ladies?
well, I think what we need to really focus on, Chris, is the fact that, if human beings are respectful of one another and appreciative of one another and kind to one another, then you have a much better world. And it isn't just in the workplace, it's in general. And, people who are nasty and who don't support each other and that kind of thing, that's ugly. And
Yeah.
it's not very comfortable. But I think that the more people who can be humane by being nice to each other and respectful and have fun with each other,
Yeah.
like be positive and all those kinds of things, then, we have a better world. And people who do that, and it is contagious. I mean, if you behave in that way, usually what goes around comes around. So, if you're nice to people, the chances are that they'll probably be nice back to you. So if you're
Kind of goes
nasty,
back to the golden rule about treating people the way that you want to be treated.
Yep.
And just assume that everybody would like to be treated nicely. And if you don't want to be treated nicely, there is a better way. It's actually quite enjoyable to have people treat you nicely and treat them nicely. It doesn't cost you anything.
no,
Right.
exactly. Just as easy to be nice as it is to be nasty. So why don't you be nice?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like instead of finger pointing and blaming somebody, just thank them for what they did. How hard is this? I just don't understand people who always are negative and nasty. Like, what kind of an existence is that?
Right.
This doesn't make any sense.
Pretty miserable.
Yeah, exactly, Carla. That's the right word for it.
It's
That's
a miserable existence.
Yeah. Why would you want to have that? Wouldn't you like to have a
I know.
happy, enjoyable, positive life? I mean,
Yeah.
again, our lives in the big scheme of things, that's your life. So,
Right.
if you enjoyed it, you missed it.
Well, positivity goes a long way in helping you with stress. So,
Yes. Yes. I truly believe that. What's your call to action, Carla?
I echo what Sandy has said, and I treat everybody with kindness and respect, and hopefully, it's the way that you would like to be treated too.
Yeah. And I had to bring up this quote yet again to close out the call. I believe it's a good one. Doing the right thing is the right thing to do. You can't go wrong with right.
Good one, Chris. Excellent quote.
I wonder who came up with that. Carla said something about it to me in a Facebook Messenger post, and I'm
You
thinking,
did.
I'm just saying, I'm so humble about things, I don't want to take the
I'm going on Canva after this call, and I'm going to make you a quote tile.
okay. I'll take that. But ladies, like I said, for me, my call to action will be it's just create one connection every day in every way. At least if you can reach out to one person today and you've made it your choice and also your intention to it to really get inspired from them or they can get inspired by you, I believe that the world will become even a bigger, better place because we can seek that connection for what it is versus what's not there. And I truly believe in that. So again, I will say it again with this great quote. Doing the right thing is the right thing to do, and you can't go wrong with right. So, ladies, I'm so thankful and honored that you're a part of my life, and I'm a part of yours. And it's going to be a wonderful thing once this thing comes to fruition, as it will. Because, like I said, when we build it, they will come, and it's going to be a great thing. So,
Let's do it again, Chris.
yep.
We're going to have
Yep, it's going to happen. Absolutely. So, Carla, Sandy, I greatly appreciate you guys so much. And we'll see you tomorrow for Conversations for Humanity. Have a great day, everyone. If you want to reach out to us, please let us know. We will like to have that great and engaging conversation with you.
Okay. Enjoy
All
your
right.
evening,
Everybody.
everybody.
See you
Bye.
later, everyone.